Listen, this hotel receptionist had been greeting guests with a smile for 8 years, handling complaints, booking rooms, the usual hospitality stuff. But when this aggressive guest started making threats and getting physical, what she did next revealed why someone with her training had chosen a job where she could read people the moment they walked through the door. The Grand Plaza Hotel wasn't actually grand. It was a mid-tier business hotel near the airport, the kind of place that housed traveling salespeople, delayed passengers, and budget-conscious tourists. But it was clean, efficient, and had a staff that took pride in providing good service. Maria Santos had been working the front desk for 8 years straight. Day shift, Tuesday through Saturday, handling check-ins, managing reservations, dealing with the endless variety of guests who passed through those automatic doors. She was the kind of employee who remembered returning guests' names, who could calm down angry customers, who somehow made everyone feel welcome. What made Maria exceptional at her job wasn't just her people skills. It was her ability to read people. Within 30 seconds of someone approaching her desk, she could assess their mood, their stress level, their likelihood of causing problems. Difficult guests didn't catch her off guard because she saw them coming from across the lobby. Her co-workers assumed this was natural intuition. Maria just has a gift for handling people, the hotel manager would tell new employees. Watch how she works. She can diffuse any situation. But Maria's ability to read people, to assess threats, to position herself strategically during confrontations, these weren't gifts. They were skills she'd developed over 12 years as a personal protection specialist, providing security for high-profile clients who faced real, daily threats to their safety. Maria had protected corporate executives from kidnapping attempts, movie stars from stalkers, politicians from assassination threats. She'd been trained by former Secret Service agents, had learned to spot danger in crowds, to neutralize threats before they escalated, to keep her clients safe in situations where one mistake meant death. But Maria had dealt with difficult guests for 8 years. She smiled professionally, processed his reservation efficiently, and provided the standard welcome information. "Room 412, Mr. Holbrook. Elevators are to your right. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" "Yeah, actually." Holbrook leaned across the counter, invading Maria's personal space in a way that would have made most people step back. "I specifically requested a corner suite. This keycard says 412. That's not a suite." Maria checked her computer. "I show that you booked a standard king room, sir. We do have suites available for an upgrade fee if you'd prefer. I don't want to pay extra for something I already booked." Holbrook's voice was getting louder. "I travel 50 weeks a year for business. I know what I reserved." Maria had been trained to recognize escalating aggression. Holbrook wasn't just frustrated about his room. He was probing, testing how much he could push, establishing dominance. This was predatory behavior disguised as a customer service complaint. "Let me check with my manager about what we can do," Maria said, reaching for the phone. Holbrook grabbed her wrist. "Don't check with anyone. Just fix it." The moment his hand made contact, Maria's 12 years of protection training activated. She assessed the threat level, calculated response options, and chose the minimum intervention necessary. "Sir," Maria said, her voice calm but carrying unmistakable authority, "I need you to release my hand and step back from the counter." Holbrook squeezed harder. "Or what? You'll call security? I've seen your rent-a-cop security guard, old guy who couldn't stop a determined teenager." That's when Maria realized this wasn't about a hotel room. This was about power, control, and Holbrook's need to dominate someone he perceived as vulnerable. Maria had been trained for exactly this scenario, an aggressor using physical contact to establish control, testing boundaries before escalating to more serious threats. In VIP protection, Maria recognized the escalation pattern. Holbrook was transitioning from verbal intimidation to physical aggression, and he was doing it in a public space where he assumed she couldn't respond effectively. He was wrong. "Sir, you need to return to the guest side of the counter," Maria said. This is a staff work area. Holbrook ignored her, continuing his approach. You people think you can treat paying customers like garbage? Well, I'm going to show you what happens when you disrespect someone who matters. That's when Maria made a professional decision based on 12 years of threat assessment experience. Holbrook wasn't just an angry guest. He was an individual with a pattern of aggressive behavior who was escalating toward violence in a space filled with innocent people. When Holbrook reached for Maria again, she was ready. Using a defensive technique designed to control an aggressor without causing injury, she caught his arm, redirected his momentum, and guided him into a position where he couldn't continue his attack but wasn't being harmed. "Easy," Maria said, maintaining the control hold with exactly the right amount of pressure. "I don't want this to escalate, but I can't allow you to threaten staff members or other guests." The entire sequence took less than 5 seconds. No violence, no dramatic confrontation, just professional control applied by someone who understood exactly how much force was necessary and how much was too much. Other guests in the lobby had stopped what they were doing, watching as the friendly receptionist they'd seen 100 times before demonstrated skills that definitely weren't taught in hospitality school. "Let me go," Holbrook struggled, but Maria's grip was positioned in a way that made resistance ineffective and potentially painful. "I'll sue this hotel. I'll have your job." "Mr. Holbrook," Maria said, her voice still calm and professional, "your behavior is threatening other guests and staff members. I'm going to release you, and you're going to check out of this hotel immediately. If you refuse, or if you make any more—" Holbrook rubbed his arm where Maria had held it. No injury, no bruising, just the memory of being controlled by someone who knew exactly what she was doing. "Who the hell are you?" he asked, his aggression replaced by confusion and wariness. "I'm the front desk supervisor," Maria replied, "and this conversation is over." Hotel manager David Kim emerged from his office, having been alerted by other staff members. He'd worked with Maria for 5 years and had never seen her handle a situation like this. "Maria, what happened here?" "Guest became physically aggressive with staff and other patrons," Maria said, already returning to her normal customer service mode. "He's checking out immediately. I've processed his refund." After Holbrook left, muttering threats about lawyers and lawsuits that everyone knew he'd never follow through on, David pulled Maria aside. "What you did back there, that wasn't standard hospitality training." Maria was organizing paperwork, returning to the routine that had defined her work life for 8 years. "Sometimes guests get out of line. We handle it professionally and move on." "Maria, I've been in hotel management for 15 years. What you just did, the way you controlled him, the way you positioned yourself, the way you talked him down, that was professional security work." Maria looked at her manager, weighing how much to reveal about a career she'd deliberately left behind. "I had some training before I started working here. Different job, different life." "What kind of training?" A pause. "Personal protection, executive security. Long time ago." David stared at her. "You were a bodyguard?" "Something like that." The story of what had happened spread through the hotel staff within hours. The friendly, professional receptionist, who'd worked there for 8 years, had revealed skills that suggested a completely different background. Night shift supervisor Jennifer Walsh had served as military police before entering hotel management. She recognized the techniques Maria had used. "David," she said during the evening briefing, Maria Santos had spent 12 years working for Elite Protection Services, one of the most respected personal security firms in the country. She'd protected Fortune 500 CEOs from kidnapping threats, movie stars from stalkers, politicians from assassination attempts. Her clients had included people who received daily death threats, who couldn't appear in public without security assessments, who lived under constant protection because their visibility made them targets. Maria had been trained by former Secret Service agents, FBI specialists, and military veterans. She could spot threats in crowds, coordinate security for public events, and neutralize dangerous individuals without escalating conflicts. Her specialty had been high-stress environments where violence had to be prevented rather than responded to after it occurred. But after 12 years of hypervigilance, of assessing every person as a potential threat, of living in a world where relaxation could mean death for her clients, Maria had reached her breaking point. Not physically, she was still in excellent shape, still sharp, still capable. But emotionally, she needed distance from that level of intensity. Hotel work had offered the perfect transition. She could use her people-reading skills to provide better customer service, her conflict resolution training to handle difficult guests, her security awareness to keep the property safe. It was service without the life-or-death pressure. After the Holbrook incident, hotel management offered Maria a promotion to security supervisor with increased pay and responsibilities for staff training and incident management. Maria considered the offer carefully. It would mean more money, more recognition, and the chance to use her full skill set professionally again. But it would also mean returning to a world where she had to think like a security professional rather than a hospitality worker. "I appreciate the offer," Maria told David, "but I like what I do now. I like helping people enjoy their stay, solving their problems, making them feel welcome. The security stuff, that's..." 6 months after the Holbrook incident, the Grand Plaza Hotel had become known in the area for exceptional security and guest safety. Not because they'd hired more guards or installed more cameras, but because their staff had been quietly trained by Maria in threat recognition and de-escalation techniques. Maria never officially developed a training program, never held seminars or workshops, but during slow periods, she'd share observations with other staff members. How to spot guests who might become problems. How to position yourself during difficult conversations. How to de-escalate conflicts before they became dangerous. The key, Maria would tell new employees, is reading people before they become problems. Most aggression comes from fear, frustration, or feeling powerless. If you can address those underlying issues, you usually don't have to deal with the aggression. Hotel incident reports dropped dramatically. Guest satisfaction scores improved. Staff turnover decreased as employees felt more confident handling difficult situations. But Maria's greatest contribution wasn't professional, it was personal. She'd found a way to use her protective instincts and specialized training in service of making people feel safe and welcome, rather than guarding them against specific threats. So now I gotta ask you guys, have you ever met someone in customer service who seemed to handle difficult people with unusual skill? Someone who could diffuse any situation, who seemed to see problems coming before they started? Drop a comment about the service professionals who've impressed you with their ability to manage conflicts and keep everyone safe. Because here on the Human Stories, we honor the protectors who chose to use their skills in service rather than combat. The guardians who understand that the best security is creating environments where people feel welcome and safe. Thanks for watching, guys. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone in customer service who deserves recognition for keeping people safe every day. Hit subscribe to help us celebrate the everyday heroes who use specialized training to serve others. And the next time you encounter someone, that's what real guardians do. They create safety through service, strength through hospitality, and security through simple human dignity.